If I can get it.
Hello everyone, how you doing? You're very welcome to this week's Rugby View with myself, Aidan Raftery, and of course, as always, from Craig's Rugby Club, we have Adrian Leddy. Hello Adrian, how are you? Are you well?
Good afternoon, Aidan.
Great to have you on board as always. And this, I think, is our third Rugby View of the season, and things are the preparations are nearly finalised for the season ahead in Craig's Rugby Club.
Oh, absolutely. We have basically all the teams out training at the moment. Great turnout from both first, seconds, and youth teams. Again, with other with other sports on, we still have to wait for some players to come back into it. But I'm glad to see that with both boys and girls that we have a big turnout.
And I suppose, what are your thoughts on the mini rugby? Has that started yet on the underage level?
Not started, but the youth is up and running. The youth is up and running, which is great, and a lot of enthusiasm, and that they're particularly with the good weather and the way the grounds are. People are really enjoying it out there at the present time.
That's it, and it's great. It's great to see that, and of course, on top of that, everyone is looking forward to seeing the first and development teams taken to the field as well, and that won't be long coming around as well.
No, absolutely, Aidan. It's like this is what we're hoping for is that with the number of players now getting a run out with the first team, that this will also help them going forward for when the development team gets up and running.
And I suppose with the because of the development team, it enables the first team to have that strength and depth as well, which I suppose serviced them well last season, and that they got on really well last season, getting to the AIL. They nearly getting into the AIL.
Oh yeah, well, you see the whole season probably took off well when we got all our players back, and the Carly Cup and other tournaments is a great help to get players introduced. And now we're into our second game this Saturday against Castlebar in the Carly Cup. So that would be a great run out for a combination again, our first and seconds. And they had a good win over Ballinrobe in their first game. So they'll be looking to build on that and to get going again this weekend.
And I suppose you're just kind of looking at the other teams in Craig's divisions. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, you say that the Connemara are finding it hard to field at the moment. Connemara would have been our big opposition in the last couple of years, but again, they're finding it hard to get started up at the beginning of the season. So they haven't fielded yet. The other teams that's coming good would be the likes of Tuam, Dunmore. Dunmore appear to have a number of South Africans and other nationalities in their team as well. So they will be very strong. And the other teams will be ready for Craigs. They'll all want to defeat the champions. So naturally enough, and Westport is another dark horse that's always difficult to overcome as well. So it will be a difficult league. It's a great league, and it's not easy won. And last year, thankfully, our lads got the act together, and they played some great rugby throughout the season. And let's hope they can build on that there this year. They'll have the run in now for with the Carly Cup. They will be playing in the All-Ireland Cup competition as well. So that will test them out down against Newmarket in Munster. So this is the type of rugby that we all look forward to, and will test our team against teams in other provinces.
And I suppose that takes us on then to the AIL level, and I suppose Buccaneers, Carrick Rugby Club, and of course Sligo.
Yeah, just before we go there, I would want to acknowledge the great work by our Craig's women, our 5 girls again, last Saturday in Corinthians. They defeated the team Leinster in a great game, a fantastic game. They won it out in the end to 50-7 at half time. Connacht came back and won at 19-15, and it was fantastic for Sarah Purcell there in the first leg. They have beaten the other 3 provinces, and the next round of games will take place in February. So that's something to look forward to. It's something that it's great when you have your own players playing at provincial level. And the strength of that is, and the strength of the women's rugby is hoping that we're hoping to field in a blitz competition in Sligo this Sunday at senior level. So it would be great to have a senior team up and running in Craigs again. So hopefully that we will have enough of girls that are prepared to travel to Sligo to take part in this blitz competition on Sunday.
Yeah, and we'd like to wish them all the best in that. And yeah, like I said there, it's great to see. It'd be great to see other teams in the AIL, like the likes of the 3 teams that I just said there: Buccaneers, Sligo, and of course Carrick Rugby Club. Your old stamping ground, Carrick Rugby Club.
Oh, absolutely, Aidan. But yeah, Buccaneers had no games at all last weekend. This weekend they have a number of games, both at seconds level and at under 20 level. So they have a new senior coaching team this year. Eddie O'Sullivan is gone from them, and they have a new captain in Frank Hopkins. And they're going very well in the senior league. And also this weekend, their second team take on Monavea in the Curly Cup. And their under-20s travel to play Clontarf in a friendly in the under-20s.
That's it. So there's plenty of activity going on there, and I suppose that takes us on to Connacht. And last week we were saying there was huge activity at underage level with Connacht as well, and I suppose the preparations for the first team is ongoing as well. Kind of maybe stalled to a certain extent because of the World Cup, Ireland's participation in the World Cup, but there's still certain preparations going on at that level as well.
Well, seeing you mentioned them there, Aidan, I better not leave them out now. It's Carrick and Shannon. As I said, they started up. They played a friendly against Inniskillen, and they're not taking part in the Connacht Curly Cup, but they're trying to get a few friendlies up and running, and they have their youths and mini rugby up and running. And Stephen King is their coach this season, their head coach this season. Stephen, who would have played for Craig's Rugby for a number of years as well. So Stephen is a good guy, and I have no doubt that that Carrick and Shannon will benefit considerably from his input within the club. And Sligo continues to be going well, very well in the senior league. They play Corinthians this weekend. They're also their youth and mini rugby is very strong, and they had a number of players on the youth teams, both on the girls' youth teams and on the women's youth teams. And as I said earlier, they will be hosting the Blitz for the women's competition this Sunday as well. Now, as you said, in relation to Connacht, yeah, it's amazing how quick the season goes around. That that you had all the interprovincials with the youths. But now the professional side is up and running. This week they travel up to Ulster to play them in 2 games, one at senior level and one at a development level. And again, they play Ulster in both. And Jack Carty has again taken on the captaincy of the Connacht side, and they will be travelling up with about 50 players for both sides. So, we wish Jack and all the players as well, our locals and Niall Murray and Dennis Buckley and Niall's brother Dara, who plays with the development side. All these lads, we wish them to have a good season with Connacht. So they have a number of friendlies lined up. They will be playing the friendlies with Munster as well. So it's all whether you call these friendlies or not, but they're warm up games for the main competition to come later. Aidan, anyway.
That's it, and of course there's the ladies. The ladies game as well. Ulster, Munster, and Leinster and Connacht. They're going strong as well, and very interesting. I was watching some of the games over the last couple of weeks. Very interesting games as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They had good games there, and fair play to TJ Gahar for covering them and bringing them into our home. So yeah, they're all good games, and hopefully that will help the new coach and the international team with building a good Irish team in that there this year.
That's it, and there's great. We're well aware, I suppose, with Bevan Pars or with the coaching that's going on at that level as well. There's it's going to be great for the game as well, and it's certainly going to be make for great games in the coming season. And that brings us on to I suppose the main event. This weekend is the first round, the first group games of the group stages of the 2023 World Cup, and some very interesting fixtures this weekend. I suppose we start off with Ireland. Actually, they're doing great, and I suppose look at a lot of people will kind of say we should beat them handy, but that Romania won't make it easy for us either at the same time.
No, there's never an easy game at international level, and you never can take any team for granted. That would be the biggest error you could make. And I have no doubt with the preparation that has gone into this side and the way Andy Farrell has worked with the team, that no doubt that they are going out as a well-prepared side against Romania in Bordeaux today. So it's good that Andy has picked an extremely strong side for the game. Johnny Sexton is back after suspension, so this is Johnny Sexton's first real game for some time. So we'll have to see how Johnny goes. He has made an interesting selection in second row in bringing the young 22-year-old Joe McCarthy into the second row. Joe now has shown a lot of promise in the warm-up games, and he's shown a lot of promise in training. He's a big, strong unit, and he knows how to a good fit man. He's well able to put it around. So he's probably targeting him for the bigger games, and maybe he will be the type of man that you might need to for some of the heavyweights in South Africa when we come up against them in a couple of weeks' time. So the other interesting selection was the great stalwart and veteran Keith Earls playing him on the wing instead of Matt Hansen. So again, like we'll all like to see Keith going well. So that was an interesting selection as well. And Ty Byrne is playing them in the back row. So that's again given a lot more power and strength to the overall team, because there's no better man to rook a ball than Ty Byrne. He's unreal, and we'll just have to see with himself and Keelan Doris and O'Mahony in the back row there. They're an extremely strong unit there, and I feel that we should win the game easy, and but at the same time that we need to be careful that we don't get any. Hopefully, that we don't get any injuries out of the game.
That's it, because I suppose when you look at this, playing a few of the players in different positions, or in a different position that they're used to. As I suppose from that point of view, not personnel wise, but tactics wise or positionally, if they're going to try out these kind of things, it's better to try them out against Romania, with all due respect to them, rather than, when it gets to the tougher games. It's good to do it now and see how it works against Romania, rather than trying it out against South Africa or one of the tougher teams.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's very important that with these two games now with Romania and Tonga, that we iron out any difficulties that's there, because this is the real game. There's no warm up now, and there's no, it's a case of to do the job now. This is what we're building to for the last 4 years. This is what Andy Farrell has his team rightly set for. So let's hope that we can progress in the championship. As I said on this program earlier, we have a tough few games ahead of us, in particularly in relation to the South African game and the Scottish game, to get out of this division into the quarterfinals.
That's it, and I suppose I was doing an interview with Peter Bracken as well, just kind of previewing these games, the first round of the group games, and he was kind of saying, like, with regards comparing Ireland, we say not the last one necessarily, but the other ones, or maybe it was the last one, where I suppose Ireland were kind of overtrained, and they were overtrained. And maybe it told in the last World Cup, or maybe the World Cup before that. But for this World Cup, it seems that doesn't seem to be the case. They seem to be just peaking at the right time. They don't look exhausted or tired. They look well prepared, and they look full of energy and just dying to get out on the pitch. And of course, we've seen in reports as well the welcome they got in France. When they went out onto the stadium there, they got a great welcome from the French fans.
Yeah, I agree with Peter on that, and this is what we're hoping. As I say, we won't know until the first round of games how we're going in, because the warm up games are warm up games. So you will be coming up against a different type of team when you hit particularly when you hit the South African game and the Scottish game. So these will be the real testers for us, and we'll see a lot of rugby even before then, and we'll see how other teams are looking that we would have played, and that they will be interesting games as well for the Irish side to watch, to see the progression with other teams, because everybody will be working their program towards the World Cup. So every team is improving. So it's not alone Ireland that's getting hitting the ground rolling at the right time. It's also that the other teams they'll be hoping to peak too at the right time.
That's it, and we'd like to wish Ireland obviously the very best of luck on Saturday, and hopefully they'll come out on the right side of the result. And of course, look, like I said, they were well prepared, and of course, like you said as well, there are some very interesting personnel changes as well, positional switches. But it's good to see Keith Earls there, and that'll be good to see. Well, I suppose he's in there for his experience as well. But like I said to Peter there in the interview as well, there's great strength in that. Obviously, you have to have a very good starting 15. But I think there's something that maybe Ireland didn't have in the last couple of World Cups they have in this one, and that's strength and depth.
Yeah, they have a lot of players and players with great ability, but at the same time, they losing Cian Healy. You wouldn't want to lose any more in the front row, and no better man to talk about front row to you than Peter Bracken. But there's other positions there. That was one of the things that hit us in Wales when we lost 5 of our top players. That affected us big time going into the game against Argentina, which we lost. So yeah, this is a big call that if we, no matter how our strength and depth is, that the injuries can upset the team and keep people, the likes of, you wouldn't want anything to happen, the likes of Keelan Doris, Peter Mahoney, the Porter, any more players, because that's they're the stronghold of the team, and there's some areas that we're very strong in, and others that we mightn't just have the same amount of cover for the positions.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. And I suppose some other kind of interesting games. I suppose that England, that they haven't had a great past few months, but like Peter said as well, that they always seem to produce when it comes to when it comes to the World Cup tournament.
Yeah, themselves in Australia, like they haven't shown form leading into the World Cup, but they have the easiest side of the draw. And that could make a big difference. That these particular games will, the earlier games, will ease them into the competition. So they could improve as the tournament goes on, and they could still be a team that could reach the semi-final or final yet from that side of the draw.
And like when you look at the groups and the way and the fixtures and the way it's all set up, it makes for a very good and very interesting World Cup 2023 World Cup, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Some teams are going to be taken out earlier than others. Hopefully, it's not Ireland that we're in there. That will be there come the last game in October for the final. So we'll be looking forward to that, Aidan, and let's hope that we'll be there.
That's it, and that's actually another one. Like we said, not last week, the week before, when I was talking to Peter, he was actually quite confident they can at least get to the semi-final, if not to the final. So that goes to show you the level of confidence he has in this group of players. And look, I don't think when you see how we've been performing both in the Six Nations and just in general, and like I think. We're number one, definitely better number one going into this World Cup than we said the last World Cup. We're more ready as well, which is a good sign. But look, it's all in the lap of the gods when it comes to a World Cup.
Absolutely, yeah.
No problem. So listen, thanks very much for taking the time out to do Rugby View with us, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Thank you very much, Aidan.
No problem. Thanks very much. And that was Adrian Leddy from Craig's Rugby Club talking about all things rugby.